Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Get ready to elevate your driving experience with the all-new 2025 Range Rover Velar P250 Dynamic SE. A stunning blend of luxury, performance, and technology that will make every drive unforgettable. Right now, you can lease the new Velar for just $759 per month for 36 months. Yes, only $759 a month for a luxury SUV that sets new standards on the road. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
A midweek edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, April the 2nd, 2025. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat with you from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, streaming live on YouTube at ESPN West Palm, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X. Next 2 hours, you're with us, packed program ahead. Well, I think yesterday the NBA had itself quite a day with one of the better games of the NBA season in that Nuggets T-Wolves game, and you had the Grizzlies-Warriors game, which was back and forth to the end, and you had two all-time individual performances by some of the biggest stars in the NBA. Most notably was Nikola Jokic, who in a loss yesterday, double OT loss, where he played 54 minutes, but he had 61 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. 61, 10, and 10. I believe it's the second 60-point triple-double ever with Luka. Maybe Harden did it. But at a certain point, this guy's a center. And Curry had a great game too. We'll get to that. And I'm not the type to draw conclusions from the regular season. I don't like doing it because the regular season doesn't tell you nearly enough. But at a certain point, we're going to have to start to be really honest with ourselves about where this talent lies in the grand scope of the NBA. Because a part of me feels like we're taking it for granted. This guy is the same guy who had 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 20 assists earlier in the season. We are taking it for granted just how good he is. You had the Minnesota Timberwolves who won the game. They won 140-139 in double OT, and Russell Westbrook blew the game. But you had the T-Wolves players in the locker room post-game saying, that might be the best basketball player I've ever seen. Anthony Edwards, who never gives anybody outside of Kevin Durant his flowers ever, talking about how good players are, saying that might be the best basketball player I've ever seen. That is how good Jokic played last night.
If we've this MVP conversation has sparked up before, and I told you, I think they're going to give it to Shea because I think Jokic is about to get the LeBron effect this year. Is Jokic the MVP of the league? Probably. But they're still probably going to give it to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander because we know how this award is. That doesn't necessarily go to the best player every single year. Colin, how many times has Jokic won? Two? Three? Okay. Yeah, it's probably going to go to Shea this year. But I'm with you. Last night's performance, I mean, 62 and a triple-double, 61, and a triple-double. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm 30 years old. I don't think I've ever seen a performance like that. So I think it's a LeBron effect. Jokic is the MVP, but it's not going to go to him because this isn't how that award is.
If he retired today, ready to be there. If he retired today, that'd be a top 20 basketball player in the history of the league.
And it helps he's won an NBA championship too.
He is better than a lot of your favorite centers of all time, and he is going to be flirting within that top 10 somewhere around when he's said and done. That's how good he is.
He does a lot more than, with all due respect to Wilt and Kareem, and it's probably unfair to compare him to Kareem. Kareem's probably still the best player comparatively to any big man, Colin. But Jokic does more in the sense of assisting, diming, rebounding. I mean, you've never seen anything like it. It's funny. My buddies and I have a saying. It's like watching Jokic play basketball, it's like a burden to him. It's like, oh, God, here we go. I'm just going to do this because I want to get this over with. But then you look at the stat line, it's like 30, 10, and 10 every single game. It's crazy.
He is an unbelievable talent. He is, if you're going to draft the NBA today, he is by and large, by far, the number one pick in the draft. If you're going to, everybody's on the table. Any team, even the Oklahoma City Thunder, would draft Nikola Jokic number one. That is how good he is. And they lost in a regular season game. And it's a game that was excellent back and forth the whole way. Russell Westbrook had a chance to make it a 3-point game with just about 20 seconds to go, blew a layup on a fast break after a steal, and then Russell Westbrook fouled, I believe it was McDaniels, on a open three-pointer to finish the game, to close it. So Westbrook was the big problem here. And
poor Russ.
Jokic probably should have fouled out, too. He had 5 fouls, flirting with it for the last couple minutes of the game. But
I mean, he went into 2 overtimes.
2 overtimes. I just fine, more minutes. But at a certain point, we're going to need to start to acknowledge, and the best part is, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., the second and third best player on that team, did not play. Didn't even play. It was Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic. 61, 10, and 10. We're looking at one of the best players in the history of the NBA and having one of the best peaks in the history of the NBA that we've ever seen. Not because of the accolades and the success, and they've been good in the playoffs. They haven't been great. But what we are seeing individually, statistically, impact-wise, he's a center. He doesn't play any defense. None. But offensively, he is unstoppable. It's incredible.
And I think, you let off saying we got to start appreciating it. I think there's a lot of players like that in the league. Everyone's so hung up on who's going to, and I'm one of these people too, so throw me in the mix on this. Everyone's hung up on who's going to carry the torch after LeBron. Oh, you can't have an international guy carry the torch after LeBron. Oh, you can't have Wembanyama do it. You can't have Jokic do it. I'm starting to talk myself into that they can. And it's because of performances like this. And even last year with Luka Doncic, another international guy. I understand that he got traded to the Lakers this year, Colin, but he took them all the way to the finals. Now, we mentioned no defense. Luka doesn't play any defense either, so there's that look. But this performance last night, Jay Will on Get Up this morning said one of the greatest performances that he's ever seen. I'm kind of right there with him. I've watched more LeBron games than anyone could shake a stick at. 61, 10, and 10 is unheard of. And when I said double overtime, Colin, I meant the foul part. I mean, if you're a big man, and I know his defense isn't necessarily the best, but if you're a big man, of course you're going to have 5 fouls if you go into double overtime. So I don't necessarily fault him for that. 61, 10, and 10 is unheard of, and I think it's time to start, myself included, that we appreciate the good players in this league and the good that comes out of this league. Like, I know that the style of play isn't what I'm used to, and the style of play isn't the game that I grew up with, but there's some great players, and I think Jokic was on full display last night and really making a case to be, quote-unquote, the ridiculous stuff that we say face of the league. I don't know how he can't be after last night.
I don't know if I'm there because of the marketability, but the point being that he's the third player ever to have a 60-point triple-double. James Harden did it in his historic season where he won the MVP, and Doncic did it, I believe, at MSG when he scored the 70. But I'm at a point where if this guy is a 3-time MVP, and I'll circle around because it is the LeBron effect. He's a 3-time MVP. He's playing the best basketball of his career, and I think it's pretty evident that his team would struggle mightily without him, and they're third in the Western Conference. You can compare this, I think, there's one example. 2018. James Harden, who was probably a better prospect of winning MVP than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is, won it over LeBron. 2018 was probably the peak of LeBron's individual basketball ability. Probably where he was the most well-rounded he had ever been. He was great. That was when they took him to the finals. That bad team, he played 82 games. He was unbelievable. It was probably the best season, maybe not in totality with what he accomplished, but in terms of as a basketball player, game winners, clutch, late game spots, LeBron was incredible. Beat the Celtics in 7. He had the game winner against Toronto in the earlier round, against the Pacers too, over Victor Oladipo.
No one in the East could touch him. Call for what it is. He could have done that left-handed.
But he beat the Celtics in 7. But point being, they were up 3-2. Point being,
they were
other than then, I don't know how you don't give him the MVP. I do not know how you do not give him. And I don't get myself too wrapped up in it, but we are looking at a top 20 easy player in the history of basketball playing at the peak of his ability right now. That's how good Jokic is. Yeah. This guy is he's on pace. First player in NBA history to finish top 3 in scoring, rebounds, assists, and steals. He's top 3 in steals. Not a great defender, but he's opportunistic. He knows how to change the tide. He is the most impactful player in the league by a long shot. Unbelievable. It was a career high. I don't understand. And I understand Gilgeous-Alexander plays on a great team, and he's having a great season, and he's a little bit more of a well-rounded defensive player as well. But that team is great without him, too.
New blood. That's why I start off by saying it's a LeBron effect with this award. I almost said ridiculous award. The MVP is.
He's almost giving them no reason. He's almost giving them no reason to say no.
He's leaving it without a doubt right now. And if they don't give it to him at this point, Colin, it's everything I just said of, sometimes the MVP isn't the best player. Sometimes it's just they're looking for someone else new to market and whatever. I don't know. I would have given it to LeBron 10 straight times, and obviously I'm a homer in that. But, that 2018 was a perfect example for me, Colin. It just doesn't happen some years. And maybe we need to switch how we look at this award.
Ridiculous. That is how Nikola Jokic, he is on pace. He's going to outpace Shaq. He's a better player than Shaq.
No, can I, let's.
Better player than Olajuwon.
Kyle.
He's probably not better than Wilt, Russell, and Kareem.
But he does more than those guys. Now, not defensively, okay? Let's get that out of the way.
Careers versus careers.
Not defensively. Those guys were better defensively, better rim protectors. Granted, different game, but that's not what we're talking about. He does more with the passing, with the team, and on the offensive side. When I say he does more, I think he does more for his team that leads to scoring opportunities, hence how this game is set up. It's all about scoring now, Colin. There's not really that defensive presence. You need a rim protector, but you get what I'm saying. The guys like Bill and Wilt and Kareem, it was very important for them to be sound defensively. It's not necessarily the case in today's NBA, and especially with how Jokic plays.
He's outpacing Shaq. He's outpacing Olajuwon. Start to come to grips with the fact that we're looking at one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA.
Now, if I could transition a bit, Kyle, can he lead the Nuggets to another championship this year? Are you there with Denver? Are you ready to call Denver the favorite in the Western Conference? Because how are you going to get to that conclusion from this when they lost last night? Well, they were without Murray and they were without Porter.
Here's what I'm saying I'm looking forward to. Let's think about this. That first round of the NBA playoffs in the Western Conference, if Golden State, who beat Memphis is a disgrace. We'll get to that later. Memphis lost. They're tied with Minnesota, the same record right now. Memphis is the tiebreaker. They still play each other head-to-head. So I believe Memphis has them 2-0 right now. But point being, Minnesota's got an easier schedule. They play the Nets twice, the Sixers, the whole thing. If Minnesota escapes that play-in and they're at the 6th seed, you'd be looking at that 3-6 matchup being Denver and Minnesota, which was the best round, which is the best series of the playoffs last year. You'd be looking at the Lakers and Golden State as that 4-5, which would be an excellent series. And you'd be looking at Houston, who's firmly in that second spot in the Western Conference, probably playing the best team of the play-ins is probably the Clippers, which is going to be a dangerous team who just had a great March with Leonard healthy. That is an excellent first round of the NBA playoffs on the Western side. The East stinks, but the West, that is an awesome first round. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'd have to see how they perform in the postseason. I can't make declarations on championship contending. I can't do that.
Okay.
It's not fair.
But the reason I bring it up is because for everything you just said, how open I think the Western Conference is. And I think that there's what I think people will do, Colin, in order to give SGA the nod over Jokic is the best team factor.
That's what it is. They're 63-12.
Right. SGA's on a 63-win team, and Denver's on a 40. Has 47 wins. But that does. You brought up the playoff factor too. I don't know. I don't know how much the regulars. I think we should wait for the MVP until after the finals. What do you think on that?
This is a regular season. Everything else is a regular season award. I don't think you can differentiate that from the others. How are you going to determine all NBAs?
Fair. That's fair, but I think if you want to find the true MVP, I think it's worth a conversation. And maybe that would take away from the allure of the finals MVP, because usually the final, I know it's...
You want to give guys less of a reason to care in the regular season?
Right. You're probably right on that, but I don't know. It's like... I guess that's the LeBron guy talking in me, Kyle.
Maybe I'm just being hyperbolic. Fine.
But yeah, the 63-win Oklahoma City is what I'm looking at for the SGA possible.
He is as dominant of an offensive force as the league has ever seen. He's averaging 29.7 point, essentially 30 points per game. He's averaging a 30-point triple-double. When Russell Westbrook did that for the first time back in 2017, it was unheard of. All you could hear was Oscar Robertson. He's finally going to do it. Finally matching the Big O's record. Now it's routine for a center, for a 6'11" individual. It's unbelievable how good he is, and it's almost like you almost feel like the Nuggets are failing him.
Right.
You feel like my thinking here is that the Nuggets are failing him, and that is sort of souring the situation.
You look at what's around him. Listen, I'm a Jamal Murray guy. He went to UK, but it's like I expected Murray to be a little better at this point in his career, especially after winning a championship.
He's a great playoff player. I can't knock him.
He steps up in the clutch. Absolutely. I'm not sitting here saying Jamal Murray is rubbish. I'm just saying I thought at this point in his career, especially we're 3 years separated from him playing out of his mind and winning a championship with Jokic. I thought he'd be better at this point, but at 47, I think something we're learning and something you've kind of talked me into this segment. I don't think it really matters where these teams are in the Western Conference. If you get hot at the right time in this conference, you could run away with it. There's a lot more competition. I understand that. But what's the big difference between a 3rd seed and a 6th seed? As long as you're not playing in that ridiculous playing tournament, I don't think it really matters.
I think that 1 seed matters, but OKC's got that locked down. Because OKC's going to have their pick of the litter of the worst of Memphis, Dallas, and Sacramento.
Fair.
Sign me up for that, especially Memphis. Sign me up.
How much does home court matter?
Of course it matters because you get the Game 7 at home. That's the big deal. But you could always flip home court.
But don't you think some of these players are bigger than home court?
No.
Okay.
I think you're on the opposite of that. You think?
You're talking to and granted, I know I keep bringing LeBron up in this segment. I had no doubt that I know they were down 3-2 in the series column, but you brought up the 18 year. I had no doubt the Cavs were coming back and beating the Celtics that year. Big players step up in big moments.
You want to play in your building, especially if it's Denver. I mean, Denver's a mile high.
There isn't a team this year that's like the 2018 Golden State Warriors where you go, all right, nobody's got a chance. I think all around, everyone's pretty even, maybe outside of Boston because they've been there, they've done it, and they're the champions.
And OKC. Boston, OKC, and I would maybe even Cleveland in that sense.
No, we're struggling.
They're a level of everybody in terms of regular season success.
Fair.
The Eastern Conference stinks. It's not that good right now.
3 teams if you want to add New York.
So, and Indiana's played well still.
And
Detroit is reeling. I'm not as interested in the Eastern side. That first round in the Western Conference is going to be outrageously good. Outrageously good. Now, it stinks because all the games are going to start at 10:45 local time. But
not a problem for a night owl like myself, Mr. Russo.
Houston and the Clippers, Denver and Minnesota in that first round. And and the Golden State and the Lakers would be an outstanding first round. Because the other 3 Western Conference teams, the Clippers have played very well. They played a very good march. They beat a lot of good teams. They split with the Cavs. They beat the Thunder. Or they lost by 2 to the Thunder, played them really hard. They've beaten good teams. I think that Western Conference is going to be a bloodbath like it always is. But I think in terms of the matchups, the series, the stories, think about that. Denver lost to Minnesota last year as the reigning champ. And it was a great series. 7 games, down to the wire, the whole thing. You got LeBron and Curry, who finally got another playoff riser added to the roster, and Jimmy Butler and Luka Doncic, looking for their kind of last hurrah, all playoff risers on the floor. And then you got Houston, that up-and-coming rising team that sort of, can't beat the likes of Denver, the Lakers, Golden State if they probably went 7 with them. But the Clippers, who have always been a pesky postseason team, if healthy, with Harden and with Leonard especially healthy. Another interesting series. That's 3 great series in that first round.
Yep.
Now, part of me, circling back, I'm starting to think that maybe Denver's failing him a little bit. Because Denver got 1 title out of it, but in terms of who they kind of pushed their chips to, you thought Michael Porter Jr. was going to be this bona fide star, and he isn't. Aaron Gordon is a good player, a serviceable player, a very good role, and he does what he's supposed to do, and honestly, it works. And Jamal Murray is inconsistent. Jamal Murray was terrible in that Minnesota series because they didn't have a secondary ball handler. Now, they got Russell Westbrook. Hopefully, he'll alleviate that. But Russell Westbrook's Russell Westbrook. If you watch I implore you to go look at the end of that Minnesota Nugget game, the T-Wolf Nugget game, in OT, and watch the last 20 seconds and what Russell Westbrook does. And Russell Westbrook has had a good season with Denver. He's played well for them.
Yep.
had a steal, blew a layup to make it a 3-point game at the end, and instead of allowing Minnesota to make a 3 to beat you, he over-pursues, gets in the landing zone. It was a pesky call. It was a ticky-tack call, but based on what they were calling all game, it's fair. We're not even bringing up the fact that Jokic in that game, 61, 10, and 10 on a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, he fouled him out, Rudy Gobert. We're looking at an all-time great, people. An all-time great. And that's not even acknowledging the guy in Golden State who had 50, 12, and 8.
Time to start appreciating some of these guys. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at this point. It's time to start appreciating some of these players instead of, bashing the NBA like I do. And I have been bashing the NBA this year. Last night showed me that there is still a lot of good in this league. Now, granted, it was a 140 to 139 game in double overtime, Colin. I guess defense wasn't necessarily at a premium, but listen, it's time to start enjoying the great players we got.
888-760-3776. Jokic, all-time great. He's there in my book. Is he there in yours? 888-760-3776. He drives you crazy. He's impossible to play against, but the play style it's just enjoyable. He's in control of the game. He's bizarre. That's why it works. He's by and large, the MVP in my book. I don't know how you don't give it to him. After 31, 22, and 21 earlier in the season, and after 60, 12, and 10, or 61, 10, and 10 last night, at a certain point, let's start to acknowledge what we're looking at. And I know if you want to keep up with the LeBrons, and if they deserved it, fine. Still, deserve the MVP. 888-760-3776, number to get into the program on Russo and Rizzo, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
You make a lot of good decisions today, but turning on ESPN 106.3, that's probably your best one yet. Smart, sharp, and always on top of it, just like you.
Wing Wednesday. Brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Embark on a culinary road trip through South Florida at the 2025 Orange Bowl Food and Wine Celebration, presented by Florida Blue. An evening of foodie fun awaits on Friday, April 11th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, with unlimited food and drink tastings from over 40 of South Florida's top restaurants and chefs, and dance the night away with the live band and DJ. Tickets start at just $125, and proceeds benefit Orange Bowl Care's community initiatives. Get your tickets at orangebowl.org.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies.
Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio-designed golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today. Don't miss out on this incredible course. And please, putt responsibly.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
I think one of the most cocky players in the league is Anthony Edwards, and I think if you're getting him post-game saying, outside of me, that's the best basketball player I've ever seen, got to put together quite a performance. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Catt. Been a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall. My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine over at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they're here to fight for you. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today, because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes really is one phone call to take back control of your life today. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation now. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Well, if you're excluding the Jokic, what happened with him yesterday, now this is where I actually have a bone to pick, because the Memphis Grizzlies played the second of a back-to-back yesterday at home. They played the Celtics 2 nights ago, and they played the Warriors last night, and it was a back and forth with Golden State basically the whole game. Steph Curry had 32, 7, and 8, I think, at the end of the first half, and he finished with 52, 10, and 8. He shot 16 of 31 from the field. He made 12 threes. You want to talk about, some otherworldly performances. It's one of the best games of Curry's career. 52, 10, and 8. While Draymond Green had put up a triple-double, and they had Jimmy Butler who had 27. Beat the Grizzlies, who now are 44 and 32. And with 6 games remaining, I need them to win 4 games.
You're in trouble.
I'm in trouble.
You're in trouble.
I'm in trouble.
You're not the only one who's in trouble. But, Kyle, I don't know how the Warriors do it right now. They do it because they got, Butler and Curry playing at high levels and got Draymond with triple-doubles. But their tallest guy in their starting 5 is 6'9". If they run into Denver, they're dead in the water. I'm calling my shot. If they run into Denver, they are dead in the water. I just don't know how you could consistently... And I know the big man is, I just got done telling you last segment that the big man isn't what it used to be. But my goodness, 6'9" is your biggest player? If they play Jokic, this thing's over. It's going to be a 4-game sweep.
Playoffs all about matchups. It's all about matchups. See, Minnesota matched up well with Denver because they had the 2 bigs. They had Anthony Towns and Gobert to kind of keep Jokic in check, and Anthony Edwards put together a great series in being able to hound their guards on the perimeter.
Right.
And then they go one more series further, and then all of a sudden, with the pesky perimeter defense that Minnesota has to offer with McDaniels and Alexander Walker and all those guys, it didn't necessarily work as much because they had 2 elite ball handlers in Irving and Doncic.
And I think Curry, in order for them to win games in the play, he's going to have performances like that, Colin. He's going to have to go 12 of 20 from 3 in order to go deep in the Western Conference.
Remember, he had 50 points in that closing game against Sacramento a couple of years ago.
I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying, man, you're going to have to see some. Apparently, we're going to be in for a real big treat if Golden State goes deep, because that means Steph Curry's playing like it's 2016 again.
Now, the interesting thing about that game, the Grizzlies are a disgrace. That's number 1. Number 2.
Is that because of your bet? Or
it's because of my bet, and also you fire your coach, and you give up that type of performance to Curry, and maybe you have nothing. You can't do anything about it. I mean, he's just that good. And then you got Ja Morant at the end of the game with 30 seconds to go, a 5-point game. The game's essentially closed. And you got Desmond Bane taunting Steph Curry, and then you got Ja Morant doing the finger guns like a rifle pointed towards the Golden State bench with 30 seconds to go, closing the game, and now the NBA is looking into it, and the Warriors are really unhappy about it. Ja, for 2 seconds, please, can we try to not give teams bulletin board material? Can we try to act like an adult on the court? Can we try to act like somebody who wants to carry himself to be a role model, like an NBA player should be. And it's not even about that. It's all the time with this guy. It's all the time with this guy.
Yep.
You're losing the game. You've been terrible the last 20 games of the season. You were 35-16, and now you're 44-32. You went 9-16 in your last 25. You went 9-16 in your last 25, and we're doing the finger guns
while you're losing.
While you're losing at the end of the game.
That's my gripe.
Warrior. Can we take a pause on that, please?
First off,
can we win my bet, please?
That too. Can we win Colin his money? And second off, with everything that's happened with Ja, maybe toting guns at the opposite bench is not the way to go when you're down 9. Okay, maybe toting pistols or rifle or whatever the hell he did. Okay, that's not what you should be doing, partner.
If you got Draymond Green going, what the hell is he doing to that? And you had Steph Curry, they were all like, what are you doing? You're talking, these are some of, not Draymond, but Steph is one of the more like collected guys in the NBA. If you got him all racked up about it and annoyed, what an obvious disaster of a star. I mean, geez, he plays 40 games a year. They haven't won a big series in his career. And he's got Zion sitting right next to him, so he's got thing 2 right there who hasn't panned out either. And Ja's a good player. He's shown flashes of greatness, but it's this other stuff that gets in the way. It's this other crap.
Yeah. When he's on the court,
he drives me nuts.
Kyle, when he's on the court, he's a great player when he's not doing gun celebrations and whatever. And there's history here with the Warriors in Memphis, right? There's history. These teams don't like each other. I remember Draymond would be going back and forth, and this was back before the suspensions with Ja, when he was the, quote-unquote best player out of that draft, when he was the home run, when Zion wasn't because of the injuries. Like, before all the garbage that came out with Morant, the Grizzlies were kind of going after the Warriors because they were still the team to beat in the Western Conference. So, I understand there's drama there. I understand that Ja Morant don't like these guys. But have some, after everything you've been through, after everything that
the commissioner of the NBA
for,
sitting you down.
After everything you've been through, you're still going to tote guns at the opposite bench. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know. You got to be bigger than that. You got to be bigger than that. And, I don't want to – this is his second chance, right, Colin? I could consider this Ja's second chance at being an NBA star. You think he'd handle himself better than this? You think he would?
And that's outside of the fact that Memphis, blowing the game, giving up big shots here and there. And Jaren Jackson, who I think is having a great season, very underrated player, they're reeling. They fired their coach. Apparently the coach and Ja didn't see eye to eye. What if the coach didn't – I wonder why. Didn't see eye to eye with Ja? Really?
Right.
I wonder why. Is he a difficult personality? Maybe.
That whole locker room. I mean, Desmond Bane, Colin, is modeled, at least on the court.
They are going to be an easy out.
Big time.
And they were a little dangerous before.
I told you
they added Edie to the mix. They have good bench players. Oh my God.
Told you last Friday when we were live at the beautiful Hurricane Grill in Boynton Beach, the moment they fired the coach, they punted the season. They punted the season the moment that they fired Taylor Jenkins.
And you know what? You played them pretty tough because Curry had 52, 10 and 8. A lot of teams could say they can't. You can't stop it when he's on. 37-year-old point guard doing that to you. But the Grizzlies, for the rest of they're going to be in the play-in, and they're going to have an upward battle to try to escape that and get into the actual first round of the playoffs.
Yep.
I am over the Ja Morant experiment. I'm over that. I'm over this Grizzlies experiment. Because you got Jaren Jackson, who's a good player, and Ja Morant even had a good game last night. He did. But it's these antics. Does the good outweigh the annoyance there? Is there enough good to make you turn a blind eye to all the crap you got to deal with him? With him not staying on the court being healthy. With him and the off-court stuff getting suspended. And with this. At a certain point, does what he bring on the court outweigh all that? I don't know if it does.
The game turned into, what a win for the Warriors. Steph play out of his mind, but wow, Ja Morant was special as well in the game. It turned from that into Ja Morant's toting guns again. I mean, that's the headline you're reading today. You're reading unreal game from Steph, NBA probe into Morant toting guns to the Warrior bench. Can't do it.
The one takeaway with that Steph performance is, don't forget it, the NBA still runs through two guys, maybe three. Jokic, LeBron, and Curry. Those three. Doncic is up there, sure. Giannis is up there? Sure. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, up there? Sure. Anthony Edwards up there? Fine. The NBA runs through those three guys.
I know you mentioned that you think that Denver's, to a point, failing Jokic and the Joker a little bit. Got me thinking, Colin. You mentioned Giannis. Is Milwaukee not doing the same thing with Giannis right now? I mean, they got rid of his buddy Chris Middleton. We talk all the time about how it was a disgrace that they fired their coach and brought in Doc Rivers. They bring in Damian Lillard. That thing hasn't worked. Are the Bucks failing Giannis a bit?
And Giannis, who's been a very underrated star throughout his NBA career with just how good he's played. But the way I view it is you win a title, and the Bucks did it in 2021, and they were 2 games away from not doing that. If Kyrie didn't go down, if Durant didn't go down, the whole thing, they played a Suns team with DeAndre Ayton starting at center. So it wasn't as impressive of a finals run as you were probably led to believe.
Was that the year with Durant and the shoe, Colin?
Yes. Yeah. That was in a game-clinching environment. That was Game 6.
That was it.
That was, and he had 54 points, and that's when Kyrie, they were up 2-0, killing him, and then Kyrie went down. So they would have won. They would have lost that series if Kyrie and Durant didn't do that. That didn't happen to them. And Harden was banged up. So they did that. They won that. And then for some reason, they thought that, all right, an already aging team with Brooke Lopez, Middleton, they ended up getting rid of Drew Holiday, and they made a move. They got Lillard in there. It hasn't worked out. He's got to deal with the blood clots. You can't control stuff like that.
Right.
But even with Lillard, they've been soul searching ever since. They tried to run it back with that same team 2-3 times. And a couple ugly situations, and they couldn't get it done. And then at that point, you need to readjust. You need to refine what's working and find your rocks. They tried, and it just didn't work. But at least they tried.
Retool, refuel, reload, Kyle. Remember our 3 R's? They needed to do a whole lot of everything.
And they tried it. They tried retooling and got Damian Lillard in there and shipped off Drew Holiday. They tried doing it and for some odd reason getting rid of Adrian Griffin when they were 30-13 last year and hiring Doc Rivers. And here they are.
And I'm quickly on Lillard. I don't want to say he went bad quickly, but like Colin, he's not the player he was with Portland. He just I don't know what happened there, age, Kyle, style of play, but Damian Lillard, it wasn't the Damian Lillard that was winning playoff games in a loaded Western Conference for years.
Well, the thing about
doesn't
him
look like it.
Is that was his team. This is not his team in Milwaukee. So you don't necessarily need him to do 35 and 12 every night, but you need him to be a complement and to feed off what Giannis did. It took them a little bit to figure that out. They actually started taking some steps forward in the mid part of this year, and then he had the blood clots. So it's honestly kind of a shame. They're aging. They're older. No more Middleton. Kuzma's going to be the second option when they come to the playoffs. I mean, at a certain point, they tried. I'm starting to think that's run its course a little bit. And in an Eastern Conference that's probably going to be dominated by Boston, and the Cavs are going to be on their other end of the bracket.
I'm being completely honest.
Folks are outside looking in.
And I'm being completely honest when I say this. And I know we work with a lot of people from Wisconsin. I don't want to ruffle feathers. They're lucky Giannis wants to be there because the new stars in this league would have requested for a trade a long time ago.
And there's been flirtations with that. You know, does Giannis want to hang around? Does he want to do this? Do you want to do that? And he's been good to the city of Milwaukee. But, you know, I can't fault them for not trying stuff. It just hasn't worked out. And maybe they gave too much of a leeway to what Giannis felt about the coach or who felt about the coach. And then you bring in Doc Rivers, the ultimate players coach, and shocker, can't win a big game. Shocker, really. Same thing with the Memphis Grizzlies. Maybe Taylor Jenkins was the worst coach in the NBA, but he was the 5th longest tenured coach in the NBA, and it was their most stable coach they've had in a while, and they were 35-16 at one point this season.
Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Who would want to deal with Ja? Maybe it's a blessing in disguise for that.
He's going to be the hot topic. He's going to get another job. He's going to be the first one called whenever somebody gets fired.
You know how these coaches are. It's musical chairs, man.
He will get a early call. But stay away from that Suns job, and he's fine. All I'm saying is these teams, you can't say everybody fails somebody. So I can't just appoint 3 or 4 teams. Hey, you're failing this guy's career. You're failing this guy's career. You're failing this guy's career. I really think that Denver is wasting quite a peak. Quite a peak. You can't walk away from what Jokic is doing with one title. It's almost a disservice to how good he is, how important he is. It's almost a disservice. He's the most dominant player in the league. There's nothing like having a dominant center. And he's a dominant center offensively. And leaving that with one title would be a disservice to his career and would be a disservice to Denver. It really is. They got to figure it out because this is quite a peak that they got. Take advantage. And I know it's somebody else's year every time, but all the dynasties win multiple. All the big-time stars, some of them are left in the dust, but if you want to be a great, even Olajuwon won 2.
Without Michael. The last point I wanted to add, Kyle, was there's no Golden State in 2000. There's no team that is clearly better than the rest as well.
I might be there with Boston, but I understand the point. Yeah. It's doable. So
there's no Curry, there's no Thompson and Durant all in their prime. That team's not there. And you saying this is making me upset that my Cavs only won 1 with LeBron when he came back home a second time. But I think the cop-out is how good that Golden State team was. There's not that team.
They were the ones who weren't wasting it. They're not wasting those primes.
Fair.
They capitalize on the primes.
Fair. I'm talking about Bron, though, in his prime with that Cav team. The fact that we only won 1 is a joke, an absolute joke. But I understand it.
Is it? I mean, they got swept once. They lost in 5 the other time.
It is. Well,
and the 2015 season when Kyrie went down was a disservice.
Kyle, too much happened. The Warriors became a super team out of nowhere. You should have won in 15. The whole team got hurt. And then Kyrie left 2 years later.
I can't say you should have won in 15 because everybody got hurt.
I mean, Kyrie, Kyle, they would have won game 1 if Kyrie didn't bust his kneecap and was out for the rest of the series. Kevin Love got hurt against Boston in game 1.
The Cavs were up 2-1 in that series. They were up 2-1.
They lost
Kyrie
game 1.
And they lost Kyrie game 1.
They were up 2-1.
They were up 2-1. They blew it.
Kyle, they ran out of gas. Dellavedova was drinking coffee to freaking stay alive.
They should have won. Then I can't sit here and say they should have won.
They win if they have their players.
There's no guarantee. You could say that with the Nets and the Bucks series because they were up 3-2 leading in the last second.
Dude, if LeBron has one of the big 3, they win that series. I will not accept that, but I understand. It's unfair for me to say it. I understand it's unfair for me to say.
Because they're up 2-1. They're up 2-1.
Yeah, I sound like a
Andre
brat.
Iguodala was the Finals MVP.
It should have never happened. It should have went to LeBron James. That's an absolute disgrace,
right,
and everyone in their sister knows that.
Enough with the LeBron goggles. Enough with that. All I'm saying,
everyone in their sister knows.
You can't be up 2-1 in the series and blow it.
You're telling me LeBron didn't deserve that MVP? Stop it.
No, I don't agree with giving a losing player the MVP of the finals.
All right. Well,
happened once with West in '69.
It should have happened again because giving it to Iguodala is a disgrace in itself.
And I don't need to give. The only time it happened was '69 with West, and he averaged 37 and 8. I understand, and he probably shouldn't have done it, but that was Russell's last year. He didn't do anything, and they lost in 7. That was when Wilt Chamberlain took himself out with 5 minutes to go in Game 7 of '69. And West still bothers West to this day. Better team. Up 2-0 in that series as well. That was the only time it's happened. I don't agree with giving a losing player the Finals MVP. I don't. That does not make any sense.
So give it to broke back Andre Iguodala, who did not have the numbers to do it. Yeah, with 6
You're up
players.
2-1, win it.
Playing 5 players, Kyle. But
win it.
Ancient history. Me screaming at you about ancient history.
Lost Game 4 at home. What happened then?
Delhi almost died and had to go to the hospital in the 3rd quarter.
Okay. Well, so we should change the history because he got too tired.
It's not that you're changing the history. I'm telling you, if they had their players,
they win. Might be a different series. Maybe I'm being a little hypocritical because I said the same thing about the Bucks, but they lost in 6. They didn't lose in 7. Lost in 6.
And to bring it back full circle, there's no Golden State like that. If you're Denver and you have by far the best player, should you have more championships? I think.
How many hurt NBA teams have lost out on championships over the history? I can't sit there and sulk for Cleveland. I can't do it. They got their big one in 2016. We take a time out here. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Attention, South Florida! The PGA Tour champions and the Pro Football Hall of Fame are teaming up for a one-of-a-kind event, the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational. From March 31st to April 6th, the action takes over the old course at Broken Sound in Boca Raton, featuring Hall of Fame legends like Warren Sapp, Calvin Johnson, Andre Reed, Rondé Barber, Chris Carter, and more. Tickets are on sale now at JamesHardyInvitational.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the home of legends.
While the rest of the country sits in traffic dreaming of a beach day, we're already here. Surf, sand, and sports talk all day long. ESPN 106.3, because sports radio sounds better in paradise.
The playoffs are heating up, but your home shouldn't. Stay cool with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Embark on a culinary road trip through South Florida at the 2025 Orange Bowl Food and Wine Celebration, presented by Florida Blue. An evening of foodie fun awaits on Friday, April 11th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, with unlimited food and drink tastings from over 40 of South Florida's top restaurants and chefs, and dance the night away with the live band and DJ. Tickets start at just $125, and proceeds benefit Orange Bowl Care's community initiatives. Get your tickets at orangebowl.org.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
If there's one thing I could guarantee, it's that I'm going to root against the Memphis Grizzlies for the rest of my days. The rest of my days. I need them to go win 47 games to win my over. They're 44-32. They have 6 games remaining. They have been reeling as of late. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat with you, streaming live on YouTube as well at ESPN West Palm. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X, actually. If you missed any of the program today, you want to listen back, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. All those great places. Now, with how the NBA is starting to formulate a little bit, shifting to the Eastern Conference for a second, is you got the 3 teams that are always in the play-in on the Eastern Conference locked in, and Miami's being one of them. Because you got Chicago, Miami, Atlanta, Toronto's on the outside looking in, no way they could get back into it, and Orlando. Those are the teams that are going to be in the play-in. I feel like every year we have the Miami Heat, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Chicago Bulls in the play-in. You're going to be getting that once again. And it's kind of the dumbest thing in the world, how it's these 3 every single year.
Right.
Just 7-8 games under 500 trying to figure it out.
That's why I can't take that thing serious. It's like that, Colin, that play-in tournament, we got sold on it because, it gives younger teams who have younger stars a chance to get playoff appearances. I get it, but it's the same damn teams every year. Come on, let's go.
And the Western Conference doesn't need it as well, because if you have Minnesota, Memphis, and the Clippers, the other 2 teams are Dallas and Sacramento. Do we really want to see Dallas and Sacramento?
No.
2 teams that sold at the deadline to compete in a play-in game? Really?
Did Colin, and I'm sorry if I saw this wrong, didn't Sacramento fire their coach?
Brown?
Did they fire their coach? Yeah. So we have 2. So let me get this straight. You got a team that fired their coach in Sacramento. You got Dallas, who, if I'm being completely transparent here, Maybe it's my older brother syndrome kicking in. They've been the biggest disgrace in sports of 2025 so far. Getting rid of Luka Doncic and handling their business the way they handled it with him and his representatives. I can't take that play-in tournament serious, and I have no interest in watching. I really have no interest in watching. Just tell me who the 7th and 8th seed are, and then when I could start watching the playoffs.
Classic Miami. Right when everybody thinks that, hey, we're going to be tanking for Cooper Flagg. We're going to be right in the mix in that lottery, getting a big-time prospect. Miami goes around, turns around, and wins 5 in a row.
Right. It's like, oh, God, this is what losing feels like? No, I don't want to do this anymore. They're in one of the worst spots you could be in the NBA. They're in that purgatory of good enough to make that ridiculous play-in tournament and have a chance at the playoffs, and not have the good odds to get good players in the draft.
Well, it's a well-run organization. Well-run organizations very rarely get their pick of the litter. Spurs were an outlier at their top player, at the top players in the draft.
Well, don't you think well-run? All right, let's not get into the Heat thing today, but you think that maybe Riley and Spoelstra would understand that they need a top player like that, and maybe it is time to maybe start losing games.
Well, I mean, I think that their solution is probably via free agency. We've talked about this before.
Right.
But
are they going to get that big star? We'll have to wait and see.
That's the idea.
Yep.
They have great A1B players. Like Bam Adebayo is a great 2 player.
Right.
Tyler Hero is a great 2 player.
And Kyle, they didn't want to get rid of those guys to get other 1A-esque kind of players. So,
which I agree with, but I understand. The rest of that Eastern Conference, Cleveland's sitting there at the top, probably going to be okay ahead of Boston. Boston's going to be surefire 2 seed. And then you got the Indiana Pacers, who have played very well of recently in a very good March. And then you got the Detroit Pistons as that 4 and 5. So you got Pacers, Pistons, which is not terribly interesting, but will be relatively entertaining in terms of a story. And then you got Milwaukee and the Knicks. That series will stink. I mean, you got a little Giannis. That's fun against Brunson.
Yeah, it's what I mean. Can Giannis dig down deep and turn that into a 6-7 game series?
Maybe. And I assume with Milwaukee's remaining schedule, which is not bad, because they have to deal with the Pistons twice, though. They still have a head-to-head to finish off the season.
Well, that could determine who's the 5 and the 6.
That'll probably determine the 5 and the 6.
Right.
Because they're a game ahead. So that will be interesting, actually, to close the season. And who wants Boston versus who wants Indiana, which I assume is pretty fair and even. But my perspective on it is that first round is not going to be terribly interesting because any of the Orlando, Atlanta, Miami, and Chicago are not going to compete with Cleveland or Boston. Not even close.
Agreed. They don't have the players to do it. And, God, I thought Orlando would have been better, Colin, this year. I thought they might. And injuries kind of hurt them.
Yes,
I understand
injuries
that.
Did hurt them.
37 and 40. I had them probably 45 and up before the season.
I took that over last year, hit it, and then I didn't get it this year. I didn't touch it, so that's perfect.
Right.
But Detroit has been sort of the surprise team with J.B. Bickerstaff's first year in that.
It's what he does. It's what he does.
It would have been great to see Detroit and New York in the first round. I think that has a little bit more energy and a story to classic NBA cities kind of going at it.
To that point, I think they match up better too. Like Jalen Duren and Karl Anthony Towns, Cunningham and Brunson. That would have been a lot. Now, Detroit, Kyle, I think is a team Eastern Conference teams kind of don't want to see. They got a lot of depth. I feel like they got a lot of depth, and they could. We talk about how a lot of it is matchups. I think they can match up with a lot of teams. I really think they could.
They got good guards, and that will help them.
I like Duren a lot. I think Duren's one of the most underrated players in the NBA.
You watch Jalen Duren a ton?
He's on my fantasy team all year.
Okay.
You know, I know he's got great rebounding numbers, and he's elite shot blocker as well. And he played well for Memphis when he was with Penny Hardaway.
I'm looking for a story here. I think Detroit and New York would be a good story in that first round, and that would be my takeaway. Now, New York, I'm just waiting for them to get hurt because that classic Tom Thibodeau team, and then everybody cries to the skies at why the Knicks are cursed. I'll tell you why, because you got a coach who plays players 48 minutes a game. So until that happens, and that's going to happen eventually when they're banged up at the end of the season, and New York's not going to be able to compete with them, the Eastern Conference is a whole lot of uninteresting. You're waiting for the Eastern Conference final.
I'll say this about the Knicks. That smash mouth Thibodeau basketball is interesting for the first 3 games of a series. I think it catches people off guard with how physical the Tibbs teams are, but to your point, they run out of gas. And even if someone doesn't get hurt, Colin, they're exhausted at that point because they've played how many games in how many days.
Yeah.
With their style of play.
And they're just going to get hurt. It's going to get hurt. And I know Brunson fluke hurt his hand. You had Anunoby, who couldn't get his hamstring healthy last year. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The Knicks are not going to be able to put together 2.5 months of healthy playoff basketball after an 82-game season. It's just not the Tom Thibodeau way. It didn't work out in Minnesota. It didn't work out in Chicago. And they need to Cleveland Cavaliers the New York Knicks. Cavs saw what they had in JB Bickerstaff. Hey, you got us here. We're pleased. Thank you. Let's move onward. I think the Knicks should do the same. That's what I would do. Go get Taylor Jenkins. Go get Jay Wright. Go get Jay Wright out of that CBS Sports studio.
Good luck. He's looking real comfy in that seat.
I think for all of his guys at Villanova, why not?
Oh, he would.
Go get him.
Do you think, and granted, I know it's different than coaching in the college now. College NIL, that's a nightmare. This is professional basketball, but I can't see Jay Wright. You could see Jay Wright going to the NBA.
If you're going to go to one place, you're going to go coach at MSG and the Knicks?
I'm not
one place with all your guys.
Do you think that'll lure? Okay,
I don't think he'll do it.
All his guys. Maybe there's something there with all the quote unquote Villanova guys, but I don't think he cares about the New York factor and MSG factor. No,
he played in the Big East. That probably. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't want to coach the NBA. Right. But that's what that would be my call. I don't see it with Thibodeau. He's one of my least favorite coaches in the NBA. I don't like the play style. We complain about have the players play too hard. Well, there's a flip side to that too. There's an alternate end of the spectrum. Thibodeau overplays his guys, and he's not a good postseason coach. He's a tremendous drop-off in terms of winning percentage from the regular season to the postseason. It's like 12% when everybody else is flirting in around the same. I don't like Thibodeau, and I don't think that Knick team will compete as long as he is there and as long as that style of play is there. I don't. 888-760-3776. That is a Cleveland and Boston conference until further notice. Well, the Western Conference actually has 4, 5, 6 teams that might be able to make a run. That's why that's interesting. 4, 5, 6 teams. Sign me up for that. Eastern Conference, not as interesting. We got to listen to some 5 and 5 on the flip side of things. We got to do Keep Our Cool. We'll explain that a little later on in the program. Loop in Christian Cat to the conversation. Stick around for its second hour of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and when it comes to the NBA, I'm like a kid in a candy store. Tonight, it's bad blood and big stakes. The Heat head to Boston for another battle with the Celtics because these two just can't stay out of each other's way. Coverage starts at 7 here on ESPN 106.3.
Wing Wednesday, brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk.
Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Top 5 excuses your lame friend made for not listening to ESPN 1063. Here we go. Number 4, I'm practicing for a silence retreat with Aaron Rodgers. Yikes. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on ESPN 1063.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Is your credit on life support? Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Local bank representatives will be on site to grant special approval to consumers who meet certain minimum criteria. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach wants to approve you so you can drive home your new Kia today. Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Hello, is this thing on? I repeat, Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic wants to approve you for a new Kia today. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss the credit clinic today and tomorrow at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or go online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Credit affects down payment and approval term.
Tired of your sports commentary sounding like it's been crafted by a toaster with a thesaurus? Say no to AI Sports Radio. Hi, this is Evan Cohen, and nothing beats the thrill of hearing a real human fumble their words live on air. Say goodbye to robotic boredom and hello to the chaos of human error with ESPN 1063.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible. Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
You know, if you want to find somebody who can't pick a baseball game to save his life at the moment,
boy.
So if you want to fade this, whatever he's got stored up for you, but what it is, the bottom line is, it's a lot of fun. You have fun, you can get into the game that way, and you do it on Hard Rock Bet. Mike, tell them what you've been doing.
Folks, we've been trying to go streaking with Hard Rock Bet here on Russo and Rizzo, but I'll tell you what, listen, I don't want to say we, because it's specifically
don't loop me into this.
Okay?
Don't loop me into this.
I am 0 for 2 in my Let's Go Streaking picks that we make against the spread. But also before that, I made a parlay with our interns. Boys, I made a 4-leg parlay and went 0 for 4. To the point where
I almost like that. I like that.
Colin, my buddy Matt O. Hits me up and goes, "Who do you like today?" I go, "What do you mean? I'm ice cold." He goes, "Mike, that's the point. Who do you like today?" So my friends now are getting involved on Hard Rock Bet on my misery. So folks, download that app today. I'm going to give you some baseball picks later on in the show, and you're going to be able to fade me. #FadeRiz is the hashtag we are using. So #FadeRiz on the MLB. You have to wait for our picks a little later on in the show. But listen, if you don't want to wait for me, if you want to make your own picks because you're a sharp unlike me, download that Hard Rock Bet app today, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and physically present in the state of Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you're concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. That is 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Christian Catt, our producer behind the glass today in the City Place Studios. Christian, how are you, my friend? You good?
I'm doing really good today. I got a putting green back here. I've decided that in order to make these radio breaks a little bit more productive, rather than scrolling Twitter, I'm going to sink a few putts. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on my short game because I can't let that hold me back on the course.
Okay.
All right. Can I test Christian? He tells me he watches the Yankees. Remember, he tells us what happened in the Yankee game last night.
A go-ahead grand slam.
There we go. Good boy.
In the top of the 8th inning.
Eugenio Suarez, hottest hitter in baseball.
So you're quizzing Christian now?
Well, yeah,
in the Yankee games?
because he says he watches, and I'm not necessarily the one that denies it. You're the one that had the gripe.
I just don't even
you
give
said
him
you don't believe
the time of day.
Right, you said you don't believe it, but it was that was a fun game. The Yankees have had all 4 of the Yankees games so far have been a lot of fun between the home runs and last night's go-ahead home run by the hottest hitter in baseball. So
I think it's not all weird. It happens in baseball seemingly more than other sports. I might be wrong about that. The quick dropping, adding from the same organization to the same player. Because the Yankees are doing that with Clay Holmes, Dom Smith. Do you think that there's any weird tension involved with that, with one side not agreeing with the other, but eventually maybe things change and they do want to join that team or they do want to sign that player?
What are you talking about?
How Clay Holmes left the Yankees.
Yeah.
Playing for the Mets a little bit. They
Right.
couldn't agree to teams. Clay Holmes thought he was worth more. The Mets gave more money than they thought. And then after his Mets tenure, the Yankees then just scooped him up 2 days ago. Same thing with Dom Smith, another former Met, weirdly enough.
Right.
The Yankees ended terms with him right before the season started, and then they agreed upon terms a week into the season.
So what you're saying that the back and forth is concerning?
Yes, I do. Because it's not like it's a contract negotiation that you see in the NFL where a guy will hold out but still wants to play for the team. It's that they will be legitimately cut or free agent and then signed as a free agent.
Do you have this mixed up? Clay Holmes?
Clay Holmes with the Mets, and he got signed to a deal in the offseason.
Right. So you're saying he's back with the Yankees?
I think I mixed it up.
I was so confused. What the hell are you talking about?
What am I talking about?
Clay Holmes is on the Mets.
Are we sure he watches the Yankees?
That's our Yankee fan.
Is this?
It threw me for a loop. I'm like, what the hell are you talking
Christian,
about?
I'm trying to have your back here. Partner, I'm trying to have your back here.
Wait a second.
It's all right. It's all right.
Trying to have your back here.
It's all right. We'll
I
come
was
back
thinking
to
of Adam Ottavino.
Okay.
White
Fair
guy,
enough.
tall relief pitcher on the Yankees. That's what I was. Adam Ottavino.
Right.
I was like,
who left the Yankees,
You're
joined
right.
the Mets, back on the Yankees.
You know, why is Lindor going back and forth between the Mets and the Yankees? I don't know what he's doing. He keeps going. He signed with the Yankees on Tuesday. He was playing with the Mets on Friday. What happened there?
Everything I said applies if you forget the fact that I said Clay Holmes and said Adam Ottavino.
All right.
And he changed numbers. He used to be O. It was cool.
I guess it's easy. He doesn't have to move apartments.
That's true.
Yeah. So whatever. But I mean, geez. Other than that, you having a good day? Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
That kind of ruined it.
Well, you know what I saw? You didn't bring that up yesterday. I saw the video on our ESPN West Palm socials of Mike Rizzo throwing a fit because he didn't want to dip an Oreo in tartar sauce.
Oh my gosh!
That's what that upset. That's the thing that upsetted you yesterday.
Yeah, very upset.
So you refused to dip an Oreo because you missed a putt, and
Well,
you
I
agreed.
told
You agreed to do the putt.
crucial. Context is crucial. So, the great Evan Cohen, the godfather of this show, he talked to Theo today and said, you know, they basically explained the situation with what happened with me and the damn Oreo.
So what happened with you and the damn Oreo?
What happened
for the
with
radio
me?
Audience, go to YouTube and you can watch this ESPN West Palm.
I told you the context is crucial here. Kay goes, Riz, I need your help with doing a social media thing. I didn't know that and to Evan's point, he goes, you know, Riz probably should ask for context. Okay, probably should have asked for context. I thought I was just going to go up and, like, do a pick. Like, you know, I've been ice cold. You guys have been joking around with me how I can't make a bet correctly. I thought it was just going to get in front of the camera. I thought I was just going to get in front of the camera and be able to do something for Hard Rock Bet. And no, it's a whole thing to where I got to dip an Oreo into tartar sauce because I missed a putt on a ridiculous putting green. And I'm like, Colin, you know, I've been telling you.
So why do you agree to do it? Why do you agree to do it?
Because I didn't. It's my fault because I didn't ask for context. But to the point of, listen. You know, I've been trying to cut weight. You know, I've been trying to. You know, I'm down 8 pounds in a month. I'm not trying to. I'm not
hearing the weight loss excuse.
I'm not trying to eat an Oreo and necessarily dump it in tartar sauce.
A singular Oreo is not going to do a disservice to your weight loss journey.
I'm like, dude,
it's not going to hurt your weight. You didn't want to do it because you were disgusted by it.
Every time I'm on the social media, it's me making a you-know-what of myself. I'm tired of being the butt of every joke. I'm tired of it.
But you walked
tired
of
it.
You could have just dipped it into you could have made the putt.
No.
And then you wouldn't have to do it.
No, I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat an Oreo and tartar sauce. I didn't sign up for this.
Why'd you agree to do the stunt? You did sign up for it.
I did not. I told Kate I threw him a bone. I thought I was a Riz. I really need you. All right, man, sure. I got to go to pick up my prescription in 10 minutes, but I got 10 minutes for you. Come to find out, it's something ridiculous where I look like a you-know-what. A you-know-what, okay?
You could have... Hold on. This is a self-proclaimed... This is your problem. This is what you did wrong. Now, I want to loop in somebody here. The Good Karma Brand's president, the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer, good friend of show, a good friend of ours, Steve Politziner, joins the program now on Russo and Rizzo. A bit of a mishap on the communications end, expertly produced by Christian Cat, as always.
Yeah, bad day for me.
Steve, welcome to the program, and I want to loop you in on what happened here with Mike. Well, what's going on?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Can I just first mention that, I'm booked for a time, 5:05 on Wednesdays. I know everybody sets their watches by it.
It's not every Wednesday, but go ahead.
Today. And I'm sitting here listening, I'm at 5:02. Oh, maybe they're going to call me 5:04. They don't have another guest on. And then I got to listen to Christian C-Cat try to, he had a brain fart on the Yankee roster.
Yeah.
I did the same thing that everyone did. I mean, I'm like, Clay Holmes is traded back to the Yankees? This is strange. Whatever that was. And then I hear Russo Collins like, are you having a good day? Chris is like, having a good day. Like, you're having a terrible day. I've texted you 3 times to ask me if my segment's happening. I've called you twice. I ultimately called in the 888 number. I'm a caller. I'm not even a guest.
So
I am a caller right now.
Yeah.
And then I come in halfway into this Welch or not Welch on a bet situation.
So Mike can't hit a bet. Mike won't dip an Oreo in tartar sauce. Christian has no idea where Clay Holmes is. And Steve Politziner joins in late. Now, Steve, if you checked out our Instagram at ESPN West Palm, which I'm sure you do every hour, you can see Mike Rizzo missing a putt. And because he missed the putt, he had to dip an Oreo in tartar sauce, and he completely refused to do it.
And eat it. You got to eat it, too.
And you got to eat it. And you got to eat it. And if you hit the putt, you would have been able to just eat the Oreo and enjoy yourself and have a good time. Christian and Theo hit it. Mike went third and missed it, and then refused to do the punishment. What is your takeaway?
Well, I don't know if it reveals, the terms. Did you say, Mike, that no matter what it would be?
No,
or did you say, well, maybe I'll do it based on what the bet is?
So Uncle Steve, this is exactly how this thing shook out. I had to, I've been dealing with some stuff, honest to God, some serious off-air stuff to where the point I had to pick up a really important prescription at 2:20 yesterday before the show. And Cade runs in at 1:30. He goes, Riz, what do you got going on? Can you help me something for social media? I said, Kate, I got to be there. It's somewhere at 2:20. How long is this going to take? He goes, it shouldn't take longer than 5-10 minutes. I said, all right, man, I'll help you out. And that's all I heard. And then he goes, all right, go ahead and try to make this putt. I'm like, okay. So I step up, try to make a putt, and then he pulls out tartar sauce and an Oreo. Number 1, Steve, I'm down 8 pounds in a month. I feel great. I'm not trying to eat a disgusting Oreo.
This has nothing to do with the weight loss.
Number two, Steve, I don't know if you saw, I played Theo Dorsey one-on-one, and I beat Theo Dorsey one-on-one because I'm tired of the persona that I've gotten in this office of being the butt of every joke and an idiot. It's like I'm the fool, you know what I mean, of the office, and I'm trying to change that a little bit. That didn't help yesterday. Me dipping an Oreo in tartar sauce, something I didn't sign up for. I was in a rush to go pick up a prescription that I really needed to go and get. And honest to God, I'm tired of being, the clown of the station. So I declined. I said, no, I didn't want to do it.
Mike, I respect you, but that is a bad job. And here is why. First off, that was 2:00 yesterday, right?
Right.
It's been 24 hours since then. So let me just pick this apart, right? Here's where I think you went wrong. You could have said, hey, what's the deal if I don't do this? I have a couple non-negotiables right now. I'm on a diet. I've been very disciplined. I'll do something else, right? So that's first. Say, hey, guys, I'm not doing food bets right now. I'm on a strict diet. I can respect that. I think people can respect, but if you're right now, you're down weight or you're not eating carbs, whatever it is, I think that's very respectable. That's a communication lapse. That's to me one. Two, hey, I'm in a rush. I can't, whatever the bet is, I can't fulfill it right now, but I'll do it tomorrow. And I don't get the butt of the joke part of that. I mean, you lost the bet. What's that have to do with the butt of a joke? I mean, win the bet, and then you won't be the butt of the joke.
Christian was there. Christian was there, too, so you saw this whole thing unfold.
I'll be honest, Mike. Your behavior following missing the putt made you more of a butt of the joke by not dipping the Oreo and eating it in tartar sauce than actually doing it.
I guess
that it was completely antithesis of what you were trying to do.
Yeah, couldn't you have just gone like this, Mike? All right, bet happens. Go to bet. Hey, guys, I'm in a huge rush. I'm happy to help you out, but, if it's going to be a whole thing, I'm not into it right now.
I should have done that, Steve. And this is,
come on, Mike.
Yeah, I have a problem of saying yes to things I probably shouldn't. You know what I mean? In hindsight 2020, I probably should have just said no. Steve, it's one of those things you're thinking about it all day. You know what I mean? That's exactly what it was. Hence, probably my, poor reaction to the situation. So no context.
And then you're doubling down.
And I looked like an idiot. Yeah, I looked.
I don't want to be the butt of the joke. No one's making you butt of the joke. You made yourself the butt of the joke.
Now, Christian, was it known that you had to eat an Oreo if you missed the putt? What was known going into this stuff?
Well, Riz went third, so he watched me eat an Oreo. He watched Theo eat an
point.
Oreo. And you know what? We have more details from Cade Shumsden, who ran the operation.
Well, he does.
Does Cade have a mic? Is he ready? Can we get him ready?
And he does fancy himself a good golfer, I guess, of the group, from what I hear. So he probably felt like, all right, I'm gonna make this.
So
putt.
Steve,
but again, in that spot, if you witness the Oreo tartar sauce and it's not part of your diet at the moment, say, guys, if I lose this bet, we need an alternative because I'm currently on a.
I did an alternative. I did 10. I didn't. I said 20. I did 10 push-ups.
Let's loop everybody. This is a full house here. I like this.
That's not a punishment.
We got.
That's not a punishment.
Yes, it is. You do 10 push-ups. You miss a putt, you got to do 10 push-ups.
All right, now Steve, we're looping in.
You're working out. It's the other way around.
Steve,
you're working out right now.
Steve, we're looping in the brains of the operation to this whole stunt. Cade Shumsden is joining us now. He is in the studio as well. Cade, this was your idea. Why don't you walk us through if there's any discrepancies in Mike's retelling of the story?
So I don't know what happens when you pick up an Oreo, you're ready to eat it, and then the fact that you see the tartar sauce makes you want to diet. He has the Oreo in his hand. He is ready to dip it in whatever I give him. He has it in his hand, Steve. And then as soon as he sees the tartar sauce, that's when he backs out and says he has a diet. Nothing about a diet came out when he opened the Oreo bag, picked up an Oreo, and walked over to me. And then after the tartar sauce is when the diet came out.
Okay, so
I was going to pretend to eat it. I was going to pretend to eat it.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
Pretend to do it. How do you pretend to do it? Are you a Cookie Monster? You crumble it up?
Yeah. You dip it in. I thought, I could just dip it in there and Cade could cut it out, as he sees fit.
But then you actually ate the vinegar one.
Yeah, because I was embarrassed beyond belief afterwards.
So you ate an Oreo here?
I took a bite and I spit it out and I, was very upset, to say the least.
The last laugh was given to everyone except for Riz in the situation because he dipped the Oreo in the consolation. Said, all right, I won't do the tartar sauce. Can you do this applesauce? Dip the Oreo in applesauce.
And it was vinegar. And I blame my nose because I could smell,
Well, clearly.
I could smell anything and I did not, I was too blinded to smell the vinegar.
So, Mike, what do you say? Cade's with us here.
I mean, it's just, it was a botch. It was a botch on my end.
So how should Cade improve upon these little stunts?
You gotta give me. I need context before we go here. I told Cadester I was in a rush, this and that. How long is this going to take? Okay. Maybe a little more context, but it's on me too. I'm not perfect. I probably should have asked. I probably should have told Cade, hey, dude, I can't do the whole Oreo thing. Really trying to cut back. I got a wedding this Friday. I probably could have offered more context as well. I think both of us are at fault. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm probably the most at fault for throwing a hissy fit. I threw a hissy fit. I'm not going to lie.
The fact that you watched two other people eat an Oreo is now my fault?
No. The fact is that I thought I was going to be able to dip it in and not take a bite. And then once I figured out it was the tartar sauce and that was the whole damn bit, I threw a hissy fit about it.
Did your prescription say no tartar sauce on the side?
No, my prescription did not say no tartar sauce on the side.
Making sure, because that would be our fault.
So, Steve, Mike, it started. Did you? Let's circle back to this. Mike played Theo one-on-one in basketball last week. Theo Dorsey of Theoretically Speaking, of course, which is right before this, 2-4. Did you watch this?
I've only heard about it.
So, Mike, what'd you hear?
Nothing good.
Hey, there was something good.
So
there was a decided underdog.
Mike is on a
prevail.
bit of a revenge tour here because Mike's looking to change. He's changing the culture. He's changing the butt of every joke. And it started. I agree. Mike kicked Theo's butt. This was a step back. I agree with Steve here. This was a step back, Mike.
Yeah, big time. I should have never accepted it. I was in a rush. I should have just said,
I
you know what?
I just don't like your
I
reasoning.
got
I don't like
time.
your reasoning because you took the bite with the vinegar, but you didn't want to take it because you're on a diet. And then you had the Oreo in your hand when you're on a diet, and then you shouldn't have agreed to it when you were in a rush.
I also had the GM of the company saying one Oreo is not going to kill you.
Oh.
That you can hear that in the video, by the way. Okay. So what? I'm gonna tell the GM of the
Hold on.
I'm gonna tell the GM of the company. Yeah, I'm not gonna take a bite of an Oreo and immediately. Okay, So there we go.
What should you have said?
I should have asked for more context. Like I said, the godfather of this show, Evan Cohen, was on with Theo. I botched it. I should have asked for more context. And instead, I panicked, made a fool of myself, and, here we are talking about it with Uncle Steve once again.
Steve?
Well, you know what? The good news of this, Rizzo, the good news of this, despite this embarrassing moment, it's not worse than thinking that telling the community that Clay Holmes is traded back to the
Yeah.
I thought I got scot-free for a second.
That was a level of confusion I haven't been to in a while.
I was right there with you, Colin. Colin, I was right. I started Googling it. I'm
like, are you in on something? Did Heyman reach out to you?
The Mets are giving up on Holmes? Yeah, it's very weird.
Listen.
Because I said, what are you talking about? And you go,
Adam Vardy?
Yeah. Because Christian goes, yeah, he signed with the Mets in the offseason. I'm like, I'm with you here. Like, I don't know. And then he goes, well, the Mets dropped him, and then he went and signed with the Yankees. I'm like, who are you talking about here? Which one are you talking about? So that was a rough one, too. 2 bad days. And Christian did not remember to call you, Steve.
Yeah, that's another mistake. Yeah. Somehow, I got overshadowed.
Yeah, see, Rizzo, Mike, you're no longer the butt.
Yeah. So, Cade, you got to come up with another game.
I'm out. No, I told Cade I'm done. I'm all done.
Cade?
I'm all done. I told Cade I'm done with the jokes and whatever.
This is not a target on you. On you.
Uncle Steve, if I need to promote the show, if someone wants bad gambling advice because I can't get an MLB bet right, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. As far as games and baloney, and I'm all done. Don't ask. I'm out. I'm all done.
Well, it seems like it's more like physical challenges. You had the first pitch. You had the
that's great. That's all great.
Basketball against Theo.
That's all great.
I mean, there's nothing going to be involved putting again because I just don't want to see that form again. We haven't even talked about that. Good night.
He worked at a golf course growing up.
Yeah. I haven't played in a while.
That's going to be a hot button, apparently, pretty soon. We're just going to be able to play that. Haven't played in a while.
So when Cade comes to you in some distant future saying, hey, Riz, we're doing a social media thing. We need you here.
I'm all done. No, don't ask.
Oh, no, here's the best part. Colin's about to hire 5 new interns. I'm about to have an army of social media members around me.
Oh, Cade boot camp, putting the games together.
This needs to be settled at like Pop Stroke.
No.
Mike.
I even agree with that. We can't do that with Cade.
Yeah, Cade's a college golfer, and he plays probably once or twice a week.
Maybe basketball. How about basketball?
I'm still mad at Cade. Cade, like, you thought it was a nice guy helping me with my golf club a couple months ago, walking into an event. And I'm walking into a charity event. He's holding my golf clubs, and he says, oh, you have 15 clubs. You're going to be disqualified from this scramble? Wow. I'm like, huh?
Wow. So you screwed up there, too. How about that? You screwed up there as well with the golf clubs.
Yeah. Oh.
Maybe we do this with basketball.
I'm not going
with Cade and Mike.
Cade?
And if Cade wins, then Mike has to do every little game that Cade can possibly think of.
No, I'm not accepting those terms. I already told you I'm all done.
Mike wins. Mike, all you have to do is win.
No.
And Mike beats Cade.
I'm out.
Then Cade can never point the phone at Mike ever again. I'm okay with this.
That's not fair because Cade's going to have to point the phone at me for some necessary stuff.
Unless it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think this
That's
is
not
good.
fair.
I actually think this is pretty good.
I'm all
There's some
done. No.
stakes.
I'm all done with the gimmicks. I'm all done. You people, I'm all done. You're out.
So
You're
confused
out.
as to how this
I'm
is
all
a
done.
negative light. This is all really good that someone does
It's okay.
this for us.
Now, yeah. Steve, let's segue here really quickly. Final Four this weekend. Give me your quick thoughts on it. It says Duke and then the crowd. Hey, who do you got here? Let's get your thoughts on that before we let you go.
All right. First off, there was so much debate, right, about like who do you want at the end of the day, the Final Four. I think it's really neat because you rarely get this, right? What 2000 was it 8 years ago, and I don't know when before that. So first off, just like to have that, these matchups at the end are fun, and so that's great. Also, I sort of love the story of Martin from one of only two people ever to be in the Final Four for two separate teams. I know it's going to happen more now because of the never-ending transfers, but I feel like that's pretty cool. And you have there's so many sub stories. You have the best players, arguably some of the best coaches. I love it. I have no dog in the fight. So to me, literally wherever it goes, it feels like Houston's just a team of destiny, though, to me.
Really? I get that from Florida. I get that from Florida.
Houston feels very team of destiny. I mean, from the depths that they came back from, a lot of pressure on Duke with Flag one and done. Like, this is it. And at the end of the day, if Flag loses in college, it's just making it to the Final Four. He made it to the Final Four.
Yeah,
his career is sealed. His career is sealed. He actually doesn't need to win. Doesn't even need to make it to the championship game.
So
in college, it's the only sport where making it to the Final Four is the mountaintop.
Now, I agree with you on one end that in college, the Final Four is an achievement in and of itself. But I think that the benefit of this year is you have 4 1 seeds, 4 1 seeds. Auburn's been to a Final Four. You had Florida, who I guess it's a successful season to make it to the Final Four, but that team is looking at championship. And I think Houston, who has been to a Final Four, who has been a very successful tournament team, who hasn't won the big one, I think they're looking at championship. And you got Duke, where John Shire keeps taking steps forward, but you get the number 1 player in the draft, you get the number 1 player in America in an elite class. This looks like, and they're the best team in the field. If they don't win a championship, it's going to be looked at as a disappointment too. I'd argue the opposite, that each of these teams really has a stake that they got to get it done this year, no?
I don't know about they have to get it done, but they might not get another chance at it. I agree with you. Especially in today's day and age where it's like you're not building towards something. It's a reload every year. It's anybody's game. Like, there's no guarantees on next year. I don't feel like – do you feel like any of these teams right now you would say, oh, yeah, like right now I would think they have a great shot to be for next year?
No, you can't say that. You can't say that about any team in collge sports.
I was about to say, yeah, just because of the way
yeah, to your point. This is it. Yeah, you got to get it done. I agree with you there.
Steve, I kind of said this tournament is stunk as far as a product standpoint. Do you think we're going to see good games in the Final Four?
I think so, and I agree with you also. Like, I think it's been underwhelming. It just hasn't been the consistency of close matchups. But I also think, guys, that is the state of it right now because you need to get that alert that look, everyone's still watching, and from that standpoint, I know ratings, but when you don't have the depth of stars, and Colin, and both you guys, you're not even great examples because you're like savants, you know that so well. But where college basketball is right now, you need compelling matchups and you need these buzzer beaters and, way more depth of them. So I have no deep feel for these teams, but I would say I certainly hope that we got games that live up to the billing as far as the seeds. You need that.
Yeah. Steve, we appreciate it. Tell us really quick what's going on with Duffy's.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to make this is all about Duffy's. Let's make Mike Rizzo feel better, right? I was with some leadership at Duffy's last night, saw them at the kickoff party for the James Hardy Champions Tour event going on at Broken Sound over the next few days. I know you guys will, I know
we'll be
we
there.
have a great presence out there. Somebody last night, senior leader at Duffy, said, that Mike Rizzo is unbelievable. So, Mike, if you need
Wow.
you need a little shot in the arm, Mike, we get a little pat. Senior folks at Duffy's said I'm really impressed with Mike Rizzo.
Appreciate that, Steve. Yeah,
No punchline.
Yep. Thank God. Thank God. Needed that.
Duffy's?
It's just
is that
needed
what-
something.
Better?
Needed something.
You better?
All
right, good.
Yeah.
All right, college basketball mania is here. Grab your MVP card and head over to Duffy's and enjoy their courtside favorites, famous award-winning jumbo wings, certified Angus beef burgers, and 2-for-1 drinks. 80 TVs at every location. You understand how many TVs that is? That means wherever you sit, you're going to have a great angle, and you're also going to have the taste of Ireland with special items still going on, like the Irish potato skins and the Reuben burger. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to find a Duffy's near you. And at Duffy's, our game is always on. And Duffy's, big Mike Rizzo fans.
Love it. Yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure that was my friend Joe, big Texas Ranger guy. Steve, I meant to follow up with them after the Rangers lost. What was it, 14-3, 14-1 the other night to the Reds, and then in true Ranger fashion, they ended up winning 2 games after that and winning the series. So,
Steve, we appreciate
great breakdown on the Rangers.
Steve, we appreciate it as always. We'll talk next week. All right.
Bye, guys.
See ya. Steve Poliziano, the Good Karma Brands president and Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer, presented by Duffy's Sports Grill. It's time for us to do a little temperature check, something new. We're going to see who's keeping their cool under a bit of pressure and a bit of heat. We'll do that a little bit next. Stick around for a temperature check on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Peter. He loves his motorcycle. What he doesn't love is wind. Which is ironic, because wind is a big part of the whole wind-in-your-face motorcycle cliche. But nobody ever tells you how relentless a strong crosswind is, or the cliche wouldn't exist. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get a quote to see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
We are proud of our parents. Want to know why? Because they work for the school district of Palm Beach County. There's lots of great jobs with paid vacation, holidays off, healthcare, and retirement. You can be on the same schedule as your kids. Come work at the school district of Palm Beach County. You'll see why it's your best choice.
Join us at the Team Palm Beach Schools Job Fair. Register at palmbeachschools.org/job fair. That's palmbeachschools.org/job fair.
Embark on a culinary road trip through South Florida at the 2025 Orange Bowl Food and Wine Celebration, presented by Florida Blue. An evening of foodie fun awaits on Friday, April 11th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, with unlimited food and drink tastings from over 40 of South Florida's top restaurants and chefs, and dance the night away with the live band and DJ. Tickets start at just $125, and proceeds benefit Orange Bowl Care's community initiatives. Get your tickets at orangebowl.org.
Hey everyone, it's Cade Shumsland. Every week, Land Rover Palm Beach supports local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community by naming a Player of the Week. This year, $35,000 will be rewarded to student athletes and their schools. Tune in to ESPN West Palm High School Game Day every Friday night as I unveil this week's featured athlete. If you have a great performance that I need to know about, DM us at ESPN West Palm, Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Heat, now the new home of Inter Miami. Catch all the games and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Saturday, April 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Kaiser University's flagship campus transforms into the ultimate auto showroom. The Kaiser University Auto Show of the Palm Beaches with vehicles from nearly every manufacturer. Enjoy a relaxed, no-pressure environment to find the car of your dreams. Plus, it's free. Saturday, April 5th at 2600 North Military Trail, West Palm Beach. Call 561-478-5500 or visit residential.kaiseruniversity.edu for details.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Rolling on here from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Catt with you as always. Miss any of the program today? You want to listen back? Go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Tried something different today because it's that time of the year where postseason's upon us. Big games are upon us. Teams that are, I feel the heat around them. It's warming up here in South Florida. It's really starting to get into the summer months, and you're going to need to stay cool. We're going to see what type of athletes are keeping their cool, keeping collected, cool, calm, collected under some pressure, under the heat. It's time for us to do a little temperature check. Let's keep your cool. Presented by John C. Cassidy, Air Conditioning and Plumbing.
Keep your cool. This is the Temperature Check.
Mostly sunny, highs in the lower 80s.
Presented by John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing, keeping Palm Beach County cool since 1960.
Plenty of sunshine today with seasonal temperatures. We should reach our...
So what we do here is we're going to go around the table, Mike, myself, and Christian, and we're going to talk about some teams, some players, one apiece, that are keeping their cool under the heat, and another one that is not keeping their cool under the heat. One apiece, around the table, 6 away we go. And Mike, why don't you kick us off here? Who is keeping their cool?
So someone who's keeping their cool, I'm going to go on the soccer side with their friends at Inter Miami. Lionel Messi. So this past Saturday, it was a 3-point game, meaning if they beat the team they were playing, the Philadelphia Union, they would have jumped them by 3 points, and they'd be at the top of the table. And that's exactly what the Herons did. And Lionel Messi subbed on in the 55th minute, and he scored a goal in the 57th minute, so 2 minutes being on the pitch. Messi scoring, that is keeping your cool. And it ultimately turned out to be the decisive goal because Philadelphia would get in later on in the game in about the 80th minute to make the score a 2-1. If Messi doesn't score that goal, Inter Miami does not win. So give me Lionel Messi as far as keeping their cool. Now, do you want your someone who's not your team who's not yet, or do we want to keep going around the table?
We'll circle around. Christian, your guy who's keeping cool, or team, keeping cool under pressure, under the heat.
Well, you know what? I had a very good thing lined up for someone who's not keeping their cool, so I'm going to lead with that one, if that's okay.
Fine.
Because I need to forward John C. Cassidy, Air Conditioning and Plumbing's phone number to Mark Leiter because he needs it. Pitcher for the New York Yankees, and listen, this is a show. We're getting a little touchy about nepotism, but if your last name wasn't Leiter, I don't know if you'd be in that spot. Mark Leiter, let's see, 0.1 inning pitched, 1 hit, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, and the go-ahead grand slam to Suarez to blow that lead for the Yankees. I had dreams of the Yankees being 4-0, and those
with Clay Holmes and company, you had dreams.
Clay Holmes, Don Larson, actually, I believe, was on the roster as well. Louisiana Lightning might have been wearing pinstripes last night, and they were crushed with one swing of the bat, thanks to Mark Leiter.
My team that kept cool under pressure, kept cool under the heat, and this is a team that's really fighting to stay out of the play-in, stay in the playoff hunt. They don't want to play in that godforsaken play-in as the Golden State Warriors. And against the Memphis Grizzlies, who have been terrible, but Golden State Warriors, talk about a team that knows how to win. Talk about a team that knows how to close out a game. Curry, 50 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, had one of the better games of his career, made 12 threes. And throughout the game, that was a back-and-forth fourth-quarter matchup. Just until about 2 minutes remaining, 122-121. They won a big run there to close out the game on a 13-2 run. The Golden State Warriors did to win that one. They now move to 44-31, and the Grizzlies fall to 44-32. So talk about a playoff-implicating matchup in Memphis's building on the second half of a back-to-back. That is my team that is keeping their cool under some heat. Mike Rizzo, the team that is not keeping their cool.
I can't believe I'm going to say it's the Braves. 0-6. The Atlanta Braves are 0-6. They got swept by the Padres. They haven't won a game in their series against the Dodgers. And this is a team that I picked to win the NL East. Now, it's so, early, so doggone early. But, Colin, with the suspension of Jurickson Profar, with losing, they lost one of their pitchers for a significant amount of time, too. It has just been a team that has not been keeping their cool so far to start this very early MLB season. It's got to be the Atlanta Braves for me. 0-6, and I picked them to win the division.
I got one for you.
What do you got for me?
I'm a big hockey fan, as you all know.
Yep.
I can name every single player on
Clay
the ice
Holmes,
in any
probably
single
somewhere,
NHL
yeah.
game.
Uh-huh.
Alex Ovechkin needs 4 more goals to pass Gretzky last night. The Capitals beat the Bruins 4-3. Ovi found the net. He kept his cool last night because, time's a ticking in this regular season.
They got 6 games to go?
I think so. He's on pace to tie the record, break the record right before the season ends, but he's got to keep his cool or else he's going to wait a long offseason.
They got 8 games to go, so they got plenty of time. And what a historic feat. Nobody thought anything. Gretzky's points will never be broken, but even his offensive output with the goals. I mean, talk about Ovi. Yeah, that's a historic moment that will happen.
I'm going to wear that jersey to work.
You have an Ovi jersey?
Yeah.
You do?
It's my hockey team.
Oh, it is?
I turned them on in the playoffs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Unless you have something better to do, like go to a wrestling event, turn it off?
No.
Uh-huh. So my team that is sticking on the baseball side, Mike alluded to them a couple minutes ago, but a team that is, I guess, not playing well under the pressure. I alluded to it, the Memphis Grizzlies. That, again, under the heat of the season when they actually need to beat a couple good teams in order to win Colin Russo's over and also to stay out of the play-in, and the Memphis Grizzlies have been as pathetic as any team in the NBA. They have shriveled under the pressure. They are overheating. John C. Cassidy, where are you? Oh, my gosh. They are overheating. They've been terrible. They were 35-16 at February 5th. They are now 44-32. 9-16 in their last 25. That is not a playoff caliber team. That is not a team that is cool under pressure, under heat. That is not that type of team. I am down on the Grizzlies. I was going to take the Padres, too, as another team who's sort of, starting out the season hot. There was pressure on the Padres coming into the season. Talk about keeping cool under pressure. Keeping cool in overheating, preventing from overheating. I thought that team was going to be sellers. That team has been great.
They're going to sweep my guards, too.
They're leading right now. Their pitching staff has been very, very rock solid. We knew they could hit the ball. Padres are another one.
Tatis has played really well, Kyle. I mean, everyone, to be 6-0, 7-0.
And they locked down Jackson Merrill to a 9-year, $35 million extension to keep him until his age 30 season. The right way to do it. Talk about cheap.
And we saw a couple. The Red Sox did the same thing with Christian Campbell, too.
Yes.
So we've been seeing a lot of moves like that throughout the MLB so far.
Yeah, you got to get these guys when they're younger instead of paying the premium dollar when they're 30 years old. We'll take a time out here, close out the program, go a little streaking a little bit next. That was our Keep Your Cool temperature check, seeing what's going on around the sports world, presented by John C. Cassidy. Air conditioning and plumbing, they're keeping Palm Beach County cool since 1960. Talk about now the summer season. It's going to be in the mid-80s, high 80s this weekend. Talk about the heat finally catching up after a cool winter. No better time to go make sure your home is cool with John C. Cassidy. We take a time out here, go streaking next. Stick around for it. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Wing Wednesday. Brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Is your credit on life support? Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Local bank representatives will be on site to grant special approval to consumers who meet certain minimum criteria. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach wants to approve you so you can drive home your new Kia today. Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Hello, is this thing on? I repeat, Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic wants to approve you for a new Kia today. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss the credit clinic today and tomorrow at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or go online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com.
We want to see you in a Greenway Kia.
Credit affects down payment and approval term.
The Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs with 6 locations, perfect for an occasional wash. Or enjoy unlimited inside and out washes starting at just $49.95 a month. UnlimitedAutoWashClub.com. Call 561-WASH-ME-TOO.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Start your day off with a win. Go to F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Locations in Wellington as well. F45 is perfect because if you're somebody who wants to train for something like High Rocks, or if you're somebody that just wants to get a sweat on, get their heart rate going, and to really start your day off with some forward momentum, you go over to F45. 45-minute classes, 2 coaches on site. You don't really have to think. You just do. All the workouts are in front of you in the screen. It's more the functional side of working out, too. It's constant. It's high-intensity interval training. So it's really just about getting your heart rate up and making sure your body stays healthy. Use it or lose it. That's the idea over at F45. Find a studio near you. Go to F45 online. Get your first 3 classes for just $30. Go check them out today. Check out their Instagram, F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat with you on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. We had Steve on today. We figured out who's keeping their cool under the immense heat. It's time for us to find out and loop Christian into the conversation. Do a little 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas. No brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union. Proud supporter of FAU Athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Let's get right to it. 5 at 5 in 5 minutes. That is big night in the NBA last night. Which performance impressed you most? Because there's a lot to choose from.
Now, Jokic in a loss, I hate doing it because I think you always got to win the game. But that game, 140 to 139, double OT, and basically Russell Westbrook smoked away the game. 61, 10 and 10. Hard to overlook. I don't care how good Curry played in the win on the road. Give me Jokic. Even if they blew that game in their building. Give me Jokic, 61-10-10.
I'll take Curry. I think Curry's going to have to play like that in order for Golden State to win some playoff series. How close the Western Conference is. 12 of 20 from 3 for Steph Curry. It's like it's 2015 all over again.
Number 2.
Former NBA star Carmelo Anthony was elected into the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. What will you remember Melo for?
Melo was a bit of an Iron Man. He was underrated in the sense that he played a pretty available, pretty consistent 14 years, I believe, in the NBA. I loved Melo because he was such a mismatch problem. He never really had an opportunity postseason-wise to really make his dent at the prime of his career. But a fun player, a very underrated player, one of the great scorers the NBA has seen this century. But, never accomplished anything. He never accomplished anything.
Such a great scorer. And to Colin's point, played in an era with LeBron and Kobe Bryant kind of in their primes of their careers.
A bit overshadowed.
The game, I guess I'll remember, I believe it was game 1 in the Western Conference Finals. He put on a clinic at the Staples Center in a win for the Nuggets. Ultimately, they lost the series. But I'll remember that game from Melo. I'll remember him for winning the championship in 2002. One of the first basketball games I remember having a memory of when I was 8.
One of the great freshmen of all time in college basketball.
And then Kyle Finley, one of the best international players I've ever seen. He was unbelievable with Team USA.
That was his
Number 3.
that was his big shining moment, was those Olympic games.
Well, the one guy from the Bengals who kind of hasn't gotten paid yet, despite Joe Burrow's pleas, former FAU Owl Trey Hendrickson was on the Pat McAfee show today saying that the Bengals have not communicated with his agent directly about his contract, saying that has, quote, been something that's been a little bit frustrating. Is former FAU Owl Trey Hendrickson the odd man out in Cincinnati to not get an extension at the end of the offseason?
I'll tell you why. They said, go find a trade, go estimate your own value. And number 2, we cannot afford you, period. That is it. You're a 30-year-old pass rusher who just had a career season. We can't afford you. So that's the bottom line. No wonder we haven't spoken. We're not going to find any middle ground. We don't have the money for you. We gave all the money to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That's the takeaway.
Yeah, it's a bold strategy to kind of not prioritize defense after defense was the reason you didn't make the playoffs. Burrow threw for 5 touchdowns and what seemed like half of 1,000 yards 2 different times in the year, and you were a mess.
Number 4.
Today is National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. How elite is a good peanut butter and jelly?
Not a peanut butter guy. Didn't grow up on it.
But so you just go jellies?
No, I don't eat just jelly and bread.
There's people who do just peanut butter and bread.
Toast and jelly is different. Jelly and bread, no thank you. I'm okay. I didn't grow up on it, so I've never been a peanut butter guy. It was never an allergy thing. It was never in the house. I just didn't grow up on it. I feel like it's a thing where you got to grow up on it to really savor it and like it as much. Maybe I'm wrong on that. That was my takeaway. I was never a peanut butter and jelly sandwich guy, and I still to this day won't do it.
Elite sandwich. It has to be the Peter Pan peanut butter, though. What is it, Jif? Look at me promoting all the peanut butters out there.
Right.
I like the Peter Pan one. I could do a little bit of the Jif.
Yeah,
now,
Skippy's a partner, but okay.
Skippy for sure?
No, it's Skippy.
Okay,
Rizzo presented by Jif.
Yeah. But, Christian, it has to, I'm not a fan of the chunky peanut butter. It has to be the smooth, whipped peanut butter, and I'm all in on it. Fluff, forget about it. Nutella, I know it's kind of the healthier option. Can't do it. And I'm a grape jelly guy over strawberries, said absolutely nobody.
Tell you what, Big Peanut Butter, they owe Uncrustables a check. Because nothing brought back the peanut butter and jelly sandwich like Uncrustables.
Christian, I could eat 5 of the grape jelly Uncrustables and be happy as a clam. Eat it for a meal. Give me 5 of those things, I'll house them like they're Skittles.
I never was a peanut butter and jelly guy either, but the packaging makes it enticing.
Oh, so
I wasn't
good.
ever an Uncrustable guy either.
I don't like crust. You take
God,
the worst
I got
part
2
of the sandwich
kids.
off.
You still don't like it?
Hang on.
Like crust?
Is peanut butter and jelly not a thing in the Northeast?
No, it is.
Okay.
It's just not a regional
Because
thing.
you two are from the Northeast.
It's not a regional thing.
I've never met 2 kids who don't like a peanut butter and jelly in the same room. That's why I ask.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like peanut butter is like either you love it, or you're allergic to it, or you hate it. One more.
Number 5.
Go to baseball. The Red Sox and rookie sensation Christian Campbell. They agreed to an 8-year, $60 million extension in 60 seconds or less. Is that a steal for the Boston Red Sox?
Kyle, quickly, there's got to be some sort of restructuring. This kid has the chance to be one of the better second basemen in baseball, at least in my opinion. He was one of the top prospects for a reason. I can't believe that him and his agent agreed to an 8-year, $60 million
Why
deal.
wouldn't you? Because then you'd have to deal with arbitration. You'd have to deal with the service year times. But you might as well lock it up now, and he's going to hit free agency in the prime of his career. So that's the idea, right?
Fair.
That's the idea. I think it's rather you get a little bit of stability. Get a little bit of stability.
Well, win-win for the Sox and win-win for him.
Cheap and a steal. 5 and 5, presented by Flagler Credit Union. Thank you, Christian, for helping us out there. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo with you as we close out the program a little bit. Been a fun one. We'll be at tomorrow at the Old Course in Broken Sound in Boca Raton, Florida, for a little James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational. So stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll get a couple legends on. We'll see what happens. Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, Colin Russo saying so long. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
The college basketball mania is here, so grab your MVP card and head on over to Duffy's to enjoy